your thoughts with. And I mean, come on, we have bananas, we have goats, we have
Yeah.
monkeys. Like, we have everything here, okay? I mean, this is basically a zoo at this point.
It's a carnival, that is for sure. Let's go ahead and go to game number 2 in this best of 5 series and see who exactly will get the next victory. Will Method pull ahead, or will Monkeys be able to tie it up? The Monkeys pick Cursed Hollow. They pick this map pretty often, don't they?
Yeah, they actually really like the map, and I mean, I like it as well. Cursed Hollow is one of my favorite maps to cast. I mean, there's a few by now, but I really like the aspect of having the 2 bosses, being able to play around the curse, playing around tributes that you want to take, delay it a bit. You have Vikings that can appear on the map.
Yeah.
I've seen Simuro play here, so there's a huge variety of plays that you can make. You can try and think more about globals. You can play a very team fight heavy style, so or just like macro play. So I'm actually pretty big fan of the map. It's a little bit sad we don't see it as often as we did in the past, but we had Cursed Hollow. This is the 6th time now that we have Cursed Hollow being played in Phase 2.
Another one of those battlegrounds where in the draft Hanzo creeps to mind, as you're able to clear up those immortals those bosses pretty quickly, as he does the immortals on BOE. So Hanzo could be something picked up for our teams as well. And then of course, it's mentioned the global aspect. Dahaka, Falstad, and rare cases, Brightwing could even come out.
And by the way, guys, here's a little bit of an FYI for you. When you're trying to take a boss, beware of circles. I leveled on one of my Smurfs. I leveled a hero the other day, so I had to play a couple of quick matches to get the hero to 5. And I had a team where, and I'm not joking, 3 different players died to the boss because they were just standing in the circle, didn't see it, and then they get rooted and taken out, and I was just face palming the entire game. It was very interesting. So when you see circles when you take a boss, move away from them. It's a pro tip. I know it's a little bit complicated to grasp the concept, but it's really good.
That sounds pretty standard to me. Like, honestly, you say that, and I'm like, this is a normal match. What are you talking about? If you dodge it, you're a god. Those things are hard.
That's like, yeah, to right-click out of it, it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination that not everyone has.
You know what is actually kind of hard? The new boss on Alterac Pass, the circle that is in it, is white on a snow ground. It is actually kind of hard to see that thing. It's got like a little purple tint.
Try and go for the
colorblind mode.
Yeah, the colorblind mode.
Yeah.
The settings usually change it enough. Actually, like, colorblind mode is something that you guys can experiment with. If you say that on Cursed Hollow 2 you can't see the circles properly, that helps some people really to just distinguish it a little bit more, since the colors change, and oftentimes that's a bit easier to pick up on.
It's actually kind of surprising in a game that has a hexagon as the main logo.
That we have circles of hexagons.
The circles are so deadly in this game, you know? Malfurion Root, Seven-Sided Strike, all these circles are so devastating.
It's geometric figures fighting against each other for
Yeah.
dominance. That's basically what it is. That's the new lore coming at you.
What if Heroes the entire time was actually teaching us math and we were learning about shapes? Mind blown. Let's go to the draft. That's Genji. It's picked up. Genji makes it through the bans here.
Let's talk about the ban that we're seeing on the side of Method first, because I think that's a little bit... Actually, like, the tanks that we're seeing here, there's a lot of stuff happening already that I think is cool. First of all, Method has aggressively played around Anubarak in previous games, especially on Cursed Hollow, so Anubarak gets now banned out. Method just identifying that as an immediate source of threat, especially around Cocoon. The plays that we've seen from Ramabola on this map were great, so Anubarak gets banned out. The Monkeys, they react with a ban on Abathar. They start with the Abathar ban, since we said earlier that you have a lot of heroes that shine on Cursed Hollow because you have a huge macro aspect to the map. That's true for globals. It's why the Vikings and Samuro all of a sudden came back to this map, but Abathar, this has always been one of his strongest maps. So this already, in terms of the early bans, is super interesting, but then we're having as a targeted pick Muradin and Blaze now taken. Now, it's not quite the combo that Zealots executed yesterday, but taking Muradin away here from Bad Benny, talked about how often he plays that hero, another good move, and already a heavy teamfight setup with a great front line for the Monkeys.
Beefy front line. If they're able to get the tributes first, they should be able to set up a perimeter well and make sure their assassins are pretty protected. And of course, Genji can always get through those perimeters, but it's always good to have it established to begin with.
And you have fantastic engage potential too.
Yeah.
You have Storm Bolts, you have Jet Propulsion follow-up, you have defensive measures. Muradin can always jump out, you can drop that bunker, you can fight over a Tribute, you can fight over a boss pretty easily here. You still need, of course, the clear to go up with that, but still, there's good engage potential for them. They have nice escape tools on both frontliners, so that's already great for them here. And it makes them very flexible heading into the second part of the draft.
Now, do we consider the Shimada Bro team up here? Now, Furion comes out, Genji as well, and there is Hanzo to clear out the bosses. So Method They're erring on the side of damage here, compared to their opponents who are going for a robust setup.
So both the Shimada brothers in play. Tanks have not been picked yet, and this is now one of those moments when you can start thinking, okay, what do we actually want to address in terms of our bans? Do we ban out the solo lane? Is URL something that we are trying to ban out? Is it maybe the Haka instead because we're worried that there's going to be a global appearing for Method? And yeah, they go and ban the global out. So they would allow URL over the Haka.
They want more goat facts.
And Phoenix, yeah, I want more goat facts too. It's an interesting topic.
It is an interesting topic. It's one I haven't had since 3rd grade, honestly. Animals and we can learn about them.
It's one of these things that you just don't think about all that much.
No, but it's good to have the knowledge, you know? Trivia night coming soon.
Exactly.
3rd and 4th pick for Monkeys. All right, so you have your great front line already in front of you. You're looking for some damage, something that has a little bit of protection, something that can handle Genji as well. What comes to mind for you here?
On the picks for Monkeys, I
Yeah.
mean, first of all, Deckard Cain again as the support would make the most sense. Li Ming claimed, and for the last pick, actually at this point I'm not 100% certain what they could go for.
They need more damage.
I mean,
That's for sure. Duh. Something that can force fights. Something.
What do you mean force fight? I mean, we have enough to force fights. It's just a follow-up question. Traditionally, we don't see double majors, so you would expect an auto attacker to be picked on their end. I mean, Tracer is still out there. The problem is if you're only running Deckard, even with Blaze, Tracer is a bit tricky.
Yep.
Could still happen, though. I feel it depends a bit on what exactly Method is going to do now with their own setup here. You can still play Force Stat. I mean, you have the auto attacks, you have the Giant Killer setup on 13, you have the Global that is not available to Method at this point.
Yeah.
You have Zone Control with Mighty Gust, so Force Stat is still a really good option for the Monkeys.
You have to be a little bit worried about Genji diving you, but it's something that we've seen get equipped a little bit better for.
Yeah.
False Stat's playing a lot more safer and playing one on that Gus as well, willing to expend it if they need to.
We have seen a lot of Force Stats doing really well into Genji lately, so...
Diablo comes out for the 4th pick, and our final pick is going to be Urel. So it looks like we're ready for GOAT Fact number 3.
Yeah.
Josh, do you have GOAT Fact 3 ready to go?
Yeah, we have it.
Let's check it out right now as the GOAT Fact is about to come up here on the screen. The male goat is called a buck or a billy.
Yeah, we know the Billy aspect because there's so many Billy mounts in the game, but yeah, that's a really interesting one.
Oh.
Also gives Sport Billy as a nickname for Team Liquid.
Sport goat.
Ah, he's the sport goat.
Sport goat. Coming in.
Athletic goat.
Thank you for subscribing to the HGC where you get GOAT Facts.
Yeah.
For our next URL pick, we will have more facts coming your way. 5th pick for Monkeys. Need more damage.
I really think Falstad would look strong here. I like the disengage potential of Falstad and also the control that he gives you over bosses.
It's a Monkey hero, that's for sure. I feel like because of Monkey's affinity towards Tracer, he's going to go Tracer, but I like the false set that you keep bringing up.
I'm honestly fine with both. It's just like Tracer in this setup is going to be really difficult to execute.
Yeah.
Not impossible by any means.
Ooh.
Ah, frontline heavy. Okay, so creating some more space for Li Ming instead, picking Thrall here. I mean, yeah, I can see that. You put more pressure on the Diablo. We have already talked about the engage potential and the lockdown that you have with Muradin and Blaze.
Sure.
And once that Thrall follows that up with the Alpha Wolf after level 16, but also his level 7 talent, the Ancestral Wrath, you can really try and burn Diablo down pretty quickly. A good combo from Li Ming to follow all of that up, and you have more or less a kill secured. So that definitely works out. Works against Diablo, but obviously even more so against any other hero that you can lock down here. And you have the slows through Earthquake, and even think about if you want to go into a Sundering, less likely, but still something that you can consider if you feel that you need even more engage and more stuns to follow it up. So yeah, playing very, very frontline heavy, and that's going to put the pressure onto Diablo in particular.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to how the front line of the opposing team here is the Monkeys, Blaze, and Muradin works together when an engage comes their way from that Diablo, because if that Diablo is able to get the engage, get the knockup they want, Hanzo coming with the damage and a Genji follow-up, that is a quickly cleared up Deckard Cain, Li Ming, or even a Thrall with that damage coming out. So it's all on the front line here to make sure they get the engage they want and slow down the approach of their opponents.
So they're down one game. We're going to find out if they can tie the series up or if Method is taking the 2-0 lead here before we head into our break. Game number 2 coming at you. Cursed Hollow is the map. And let's find out what the Monkeys can pull off here. Game 2, Cursed Hollow, and to the left is Team Method with AD Ardy on Hanzo, Bad Benny, not a Muradin this time, has to play Diablo here. Nick, on the other hand, he finds himself on Genji, whereas Thero is for the second time in the series on Urel, and Curson on Malfurion.
On the right side, in the red, Splendor on Deckard Cain, Make. Oh, Make on Blaze. Thrall, played by Alex the Proji. Crosby on Li Ming, and Rimmer on Muradin.
Rimmer on that front line, very melee heavy setup. Splendor now on Deckard Cain. This is actually another interesting one here. I mean, when we look at Deckard Cain, Tricked hasn't really played the hero too often so far in Phase 2. They only played him once, and that was a lost game for them, so they are traditionally doing a little bit better with other supports there. For now, though, I'm a bit curious to see what exactly Muradin can pull off, because Trick played him only once. That was a success for them. They have a huge priority, as we said during the draft, on Nubarak. They've played Nubarak 6 times already. 3 wins and 3 losses, more so than any other team. And it's the main reason why Method banned him out in this series. Even at the first ban, not even trying to wait and see if they can ban him out on the second spot, but instead immediately committing to a ban.
He should be able to help control Hanzo here. I am worried about Malfurion and his peel potential. But if they can control Hanzo a little bit, that should give Monkeys a little bit more time to deal with the Genji that's trying to shark around and find that combo to pick off somebody. So that'll be his main job here. And remember, starting to get equipped for it by moving into the Stormbolt build here at level 1. Trying to get that optimal damage and, of course, put out a quick combo against the Squishy. But I'm more worried about what happens post 5 minutes in this game. If there's an opening, Method will take it. They can move over and grab a boss, which they will clear out pretty darn quick, especially the level 7 talent coming online for Hanzo.
Yeah, it's important for the Monkeys that they keep vision. That once we see heroes disappearing from their vision, that we have someone double-checking the bosses. You kind of need to keep tabs on what exactly Method is doing, because you're absolutely right. With Hanzo, there's always a huge potential that he can sneak a boss in if you have a few seconds left for yourself. So you need to either react and try and take your own boss, or you just need to make sure that you distract your opponent from getting it.
I like this up here in the top lane, this 2-on-1 against Thrall.
Yeah, I just want to talk about exactly that as well, because of his quest. It makes it really difficult for him to not get those stacks together. Alex is currently sitting at 6 stacks, and we're 2 minutes in. So normally we see him complete his level 1 quest in like 3 to 4 minutes, and he's really suffering at this point because of those 2 heroes that line up against him. And
usually you give that top laner a little bit of time to breathe, because you'll peel off one of those members and move and grab the Giants, but Method puts Genji on the Giants. He clears that out. They leave Urel in the bottom lane and Diablo in the middle to allow for Hanzo to continue to stay up here. So Alex Approachy having a very difficult time dealing with Hanzo. And with Giants to help push out that push, they have taken the turrets, they've taken the gate, and they're looking to keep moving. They're even thinking about putting some damage on this fort.
And again, if you're a solo laner and you face off against a Thrall that tries to stack Echo of Elements, always try, if you have the lane presence, to stand on the minions that are getting low health so that he can't get the final blow in there. It's just simply a targeting issue, and it really makes it difficult for him to stack it. Now, he's going to stack it eventually, but if you can delay it, then maybe the first objective is an objective where he can't rely onto a completed quest, so he has to be a bit more cautious with how much he can poke here. So for the early game, that's definitely always one of these small things that in a solo lane setup you can pull off, and that might give you an advantage over objective number 1.
Yeah, for you, My Hero Academy fans, think of it as like Deku. You want to make sure that Deku can't get off his abilities the way he wants to. If he's able to outthink you, he will take you down quickly. Put your pressure on Thrall. Make it hard. As Alex the Prodigy backs up. And the Terse, the first tribute at least, goes over to Method. 1 tribute, and they are getting level 7. They're starting to eke their way into a pretty large victory / lead here.
Yeah, the entire setup for Method hasn't really worked out for the Monkeys, because Monkeys were trying to put a tri-lane to the bottom of the map, and that didn't really yield the results that they were hoping for, whereas Method pushed through the top lane, took the fort out, have an early level 7, took the first tribute with a talent advantage, and now looking super strong here. This is not going well for the Monkeys by any means.
At least they've gotten the turrets in the bottom left, and they also run their Night Camp, so they'll have their own counter pressure, but Method's doing the same here on the bottom left. Diablo, sharking around, building out souls as well, looking over to it. 67 already on hand here for Bad Benny, starting to get to a point where he's feeling pretty darn tanky. 10 on the quest here for level 1 on Hanzo. And look over at Thrall, he's still at 16, so 4 more. And he'll have his Echo of the Elements done.
Yeah, and we also have both of the teams going for the night camp. Monkeys even keeping Muradin around because they obviously lost vision on Method's heroes, or at least 3 of them. So they weren't quite sure, is there an invade coming? Are they trying to take their own camp? What's happening? So Muradin was anchoring that play a little bit more aggressively than you would usually see, just to make sure that if there is an invade, he can react to it. But now we have the second tribute, and that's something where the Monkeys have to fight for, because if they lose out on tribute number 2, they are very likely to get cursed on the third one, since Method currently has the lead in experience and will hit the earlier level 10.
And almost got it. Aethero actually gets some pressure here on the front line, with Thrall on the back trying to pinch him in. Genji has to come over soon. Starts rotate over. They were able to get the advantage on the Merc camp here in the middle, but if they lose someone, Monkeys will be able to take this tribute and, of course, establish a little bit more experience on them.
And we just saw exactly what we mentioned during the draft. If you get the lockdown against the hero, then it's always easier for Li Ming to follow up these combos. So we're not seeing Maka commit to just randomly spamming out the combos. Instead, he waits until there is a stun, as we could just see, and then Crosby can follow it up, and that's exactly what he does. Tribute has been taken by the Monkeys, but the fight is not over yet. They're going again for Urel, and this time there's no saving him. Urel is down, and we are seeing them with an attempt to get their second kill. Curson is low, trying to get away, and Malfurion barely walks out. It's actually Maka that falls as Nick commits to the kill, and he's not done yet either. Crosby's low on mana, has nothing left, and Method chases the Monkeys away just as we could have seen 2 or 3 heroes die on their side.
Curson was so close to falling, but Li Ming actually ran out of mana. Able to get the Calamity in, drop a couple magic missiles, but nothing afterwards, which meant that Curson was able to snipe away, drop down the root, and then you have Nick coming from the middle lane that he pushed out, by the way, and got the turrets cleaned up on, and get a kill. Method, after their first kill, turn around, grab the boss instantly with Hanzo still being alive and that scatter arrow build being a thing. They cleared up quick.
Yeah, really well done. They knew that everyone on the Monkey side had to retreat, especially since Li Ming was out of mana, so there was no direct threat to them. And they also had their hero come back into the game a bit earlier, a bit sooner, so they could easily go for boss. But now we have exactly the reason up here to the top, the tribute, why I said earlier that the second tribute was so important for the Monkey Menagerie. If they didn't take the second one, they would be cursed now. So there's an easy tribute thanks to the level 10 advantage for Method. Monkeys decide that they cannot fight now. And there's a little bit of a skirmish in the middle where Malfurion is even forced to drop Tranquility since the Monkeys were threatening Diablo here. But a great start still for Method. Monkeys are waiting for level 10. We're currently seeing the boss at the bot lane. Murden's anchoring that play a bit against Aethero. Still very unlikely that they're going to get a kill, but they're going to try. If they can sync those CCs up, they might be able to put Aethero in a bit of trouble. I'm just kidding. He has the Divine Pick on 7, so he can always hop away, mount up, and ride out of harm's way.
Pig too strong. But here is the main story. Look at the top right. Method, with them seeing 2 on the bottom chasing down Urel, they go straight over it and look at the boss, and if they give up the tribute, that's just fine, as there is only 1 available here for Monkeys. They would not get a curse off of it, so Method able to grab a boss, and if they rotate fast enough, they may be able to contest this tribute on the bottom left. They actually decide not to.
This is another big lesson, by the way, since we're talking about this all the time, what you can really learn from these things. So what happened here? Method takes the first boss at the bottom of the map. They are pushing in with the boss with 1 hero, and then when they see 3, 4 heroes commit to the defense, they know that they can do something at the top of the map. So all of a sudden, they have time to take the boss. Even though they don't have a talent advantage, they know that the rotation from the Monkeys from the bottom lane to the top lane would take so long that they still can claim the boss. So by taking objective and letting a push on the map and then having vision of your opponent, you create opportunities for yourself, and you need to try and use those. That's what Heroes is really all about. You are trying to invest time by taking an objective somewhere or taking a boss, and then you capitalize on it by either pushing with it or getting value on the other side of the map while your opponent has to invest time to defend against it.
Monkeys are not going to invest any time defending that boss in the top right corner. It's actually getting a lot of damage in. About a quarter health. Finally, it gets cleaned up. The minions will help out with that. Also getting cleared up too. Monkeys instead go for a fight. They want the tribute. They feel like this is their way to counter what Method has pulled off so far. Method moves in, looks at Alex Prodigy. Aethero comes in from the side and knocks him back.
Monkeys with a quick fight attempt since they want to fight before 13 is there. Here comes the stay a while and listen. And already Urel popping her own ult, the Ardent Defender, but the tribute is still being fought over, and Method is inching forward to that level 13 talent advantage. The Monkeys know that they need a kill quickly, but their first attempt has not worked out in their favor.
No, it has not. But Monkeys are healthy. Decker Kane able to drop down potions left and right. Snowball comes out. They go straight in for Diablo. He goes down to about half health, but Aethero jumps in and knocks everyone back. Same time, Nick needs to be a bit careful. He gets aggressive and drops a deflect. He still has the X-Strike if he finds anybody low enough. But slowly but surely, Splendor continuing to keep Monkeys nice and healthy.
The poke is just better on Method's side, and they still have that fountain. You could just see two heroes peel up to the top, tap at the fountain, and now they're going to re-engage here. So a massive advantage for Method in this fight, and they're going to try and use that now to take the Monkeys down. They have a great position here. Nick already heading into the back line. Crosby is low, goes down. There's the reset. Genji immediately trying to follow it up with another kill. Not getting that so far, but Alex is in trouble. B stepping here since he realizes that this is not going to end well for him. Blaze also falls. 3 kills confirmed, as is already 13 in the hands of Method, a 2-level lead. They move through the top lane, and they're going to have an easy kill on the fort.
That tap of the well that you pointed out, instrumental for Method to get that victory. Nick finally getting Li Ming on the back right. Nothing Monkeys is able to do as that keep will fall, and Method plays for a second keep as well, even grabbing this night camp here right above, stealing it away from the Monkeys so they can have a massive push coming in while the bottom lane continues to stack up, and they'll be able to rotate down if they need to also take out that keep.
Yeah, that tap on the well and that quick reset during the fight was what allowed Method to take it. The Monkeys originally really were just trying to go for a kill. They knew that there was only half a level until Method had the 13 talent advantage. So they said, guys, we need to make that snap decision. We need to go in, get the kill, and take it from there. And Method knew that too, and they popped all of their abilities to make sure that that kill would not happen. And once they were safe, they could play the long game. They could wait for 13, they could re-tap at the well, and just play things out, and that's exactly what they did. And then once that they had an advantage, once that the Monkeys were already on half health, they fully committed to an aggression into the back line, and that confirmed those 3 kills. They got the tribute, the curse, and now they're 3 levels ahead.
4 levels ahead as they hit 16. They grab a night camp to have that pushing in the middle. There's a boss about to spawn in about 3 seconds. They're already set up for it. The Monkeys, aware of this, have to rotate over and potentially fight. They're looking for 13, so at least they have a talent available to them. There'll still be a talent behind. And here comes the Monkeys. Rimmer walks in first. Scatter Arrow comes out. Murden trying to buy some time, but he's already rooted.
Yeah, it's already rooted here. They were trying to bait a fight around the boss. That was the thought process here. Nick into the backline. Bunker is there. The attempt to get the kill against Nick, that didn't quite work out. Rema is low. Another good move by Aethero, just putting everyone out of position here. Splendor attempting to keep himself and the rest of his team alive, but Murden falls first in the resets of Nick. They do the rest. Second, third, and fourth kill confirmed as everyone on the side of the Monkeys, with the exception of Li Ming, falls. And now we are going to see Method moving either for core. Not quite sure if they can pull that off yet, but they can at least put the pressure onto the keep in the mid lane and confirm a second catapult lane.
Yep, and they head over. They're even thinking about moving to the boss. The ADRD positioning a little bit aggressive. 10 seconds. 3 members will be back here from Monkeys. Crosby starts to siege away. See if they can hold. I guess this core push coming in, but Method believes it is game over, especially with that night camp right behind them to back up to. Catapult also doing damage to core. Rimmer jumps in and looks for Nick.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they can get the core without a kill, but they can definitely confirm the keep, and that's what they did already. And now the camp is pushing in, and that still has the spell aura, so they're going to try and use that to their advantage, and all they need is a kill or 2 here. Rema is about to fall, and he goes down, and he's not the only one. Deckard Kane is dead too, and that's a double kill confirmed. They're attempting to go for Alex. The core is already falling, and now with 2 heroes dead, there's just no way to stop Method. They are going in for their 2-0 lead. Monkeys do everything they can to somehow defend, but Blaze has fallen. Only Thrall and Li Ming are still in play, and this is it as Method takes the second game and takes a massive lead in the series.
Method seems to be on a war path, just walking over the Monkeys in that late game, getting a 4th-level lead on them and controlling the fights, especially after that second fight we saw in that tribute in the top right corner. Method doing well, but Monkeys hurting right now, down 2-0.
Yeah, Monkeys definitely struggling a lot in their setup. And Method, as you said, I mean, they're playing this well. And they also know, in every single game, they really know about the advantages that they have with their setup. And they are playing the fights extremely smart, especially that fight at the top. And it was also the rotations that we saw. You have a fight, your opponent is low, is starting to retreat, you're already at the bot lane, take boss. Boss pushes in, you see 3 heroes committing to the defense, you already rotate top because of the tribute, you take the second boss, you take the tribute. So they just did really well in the macro rotations, more so than anything else. They played smart, and that won them the game.
Nick, the silent killer there on Genji. Usually when you're talking about Genji, you're expecting explosive kills that are coming out. He played it nice and slow in the middle of the map when he got that night camp. He cleared that out to make sure that his team was able to get an advantage and pressure the Monkeys into a situation. The Monkeys did get a kill there, but he was able to counteract by coming on the bottom left, finding a pick, and that opened up a boss opportunity for Hanzo. So Nick, in that game, I feel like he was silently my MVP, actually.
Nick is definitely a fantastic player in general, and he's one of the players that doesn't really stand out too much since he's also...
It's so weird because he's so good.
He's really quiet.
Yeah.
And he's also... He doesn't really look for the spotlight in any way. We have him very rare. I think we've never had him in an interview. I've
We
seen
should interview him once.
Yeah, like getting him in the post interview somehow. But he's just insanely good. To an extent, I mean, we keep talking about that story where the Koreans are mentioning over and over again. They don't even know his name. They have no idea how the guy is called. But they're like, oh, you know that Chromie player on that team? He's really, really good. But yeah, so Nick definitely doing well here.
Yeah.
And he confirmed 7 of the, I think, 11 kills that Method was able to pick up against them.
Well, we will get more Nick after this commercial break as Monkeys and Method will go